is the tutorial for Chapter 2, Section 2, titled Translations. And before we get into translations, we got to talk about what a transformation is. Here's that word transformation right up here. And basically what a transformation is it's a change. It changes a figure into another figure. And so, for instance, this would be a transformation. Here's a figure right here, number 1. And it's starting with the unshaded figure, and it goes to a shaded figure. And so that's a transformation. This is another transformation. This sun right here is transforming into this other position. And here's another transformation. So this is the transformation of this triangle here to another triangle that's shaded over here. So those are transformations. It changes the figure into another figure. And the new figure is called the image. And the original is called the pre-image. So when we talk about the image, they're talking about the new figure that it was changed to, pre-image, the original. Well, today we're going to be talking about a translation, which is a type of transformation. A translation is just when the transformation only slides, and the key is only slides. So slides means just moved into a different direction. It means that it did not change in size, so it does not change size, turn, or reflect. And so another word for turn is rotate. So it doesn't do any of these three things. So if we see one of those three, then we know it's not a translation. So let's take a look at this one. So we're supposed to tell whether the shaded figure is a translation of the non-shaded. So the non-shaded would be our pre-image, and the shaded one would be our new image. And so we're supposed to see whether it's translated or was a translation. And so I see that this one here changes size. So we would say not a translation because the image increased in size. So the next one, we see that this pre-image looks exactly like the image. And so all it did is it moved to a different location. So this is a translation. And we can say it moved down and to the right. And that's what we're going to be doing with translations, is we're going to be shifting these figures, and we're going to be talking about moving them up or down and then left and right. This next one looks like it's the same size, but it did not translate. It actually did translate over to the right, but it also did another transformation. It rotated around 180 degrees, so this is not a translation. Not a translation because it rotated or turned. So you're going to see those types on the homework. Let's take a look at some other types. And here we've got to do some translations. So it says for us to translate or move. Basically all we're going to do is move or slide the figure. And then here's the directions to do that. 4 units left, 1 unit down. So we start with each of the vertices. The vertices are where the lines come together to form the figure. And we just go in that direction. And so in this case here I'm going to go 4 units left, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 unit down. So 1 unit down, and I put a dot there. And I do the same thing with all the other points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 unit down. And then I go from this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 unit down. And the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 unit down. And then I just draw the figure. And so from here, what they want us to do is name the ordered pairs. What are the coordinates of the image? Well, this point here is 4 units left, 3 spaces up from the origin. So that'd be -4, comma 3. And then this point is 1 unit to the left and 3 units up, so negative 1, 3. And then this point is just 3 units left, 0 spaces up, so negative 3, 0. This last one here is 0 spaces left or right, but 1 unit down, so negative 1. So taking a look at the next one, it gives us a new translation. So translate the figure 5 units right, 4 units up, and then go ahead and name the coordinates of the image. So 5 units right, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 units up, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we can go ahead and mark that point. That is 4 units right, 3 spaces up, so 4, 3. And this next one goes 5 units right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that point represents 2, 2. And the next one down here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 units up, 1, 2, 3, 4. That point is 3 spaces to the right and 1 space down. And so that point represents 3 spaces to the right, 1 space down, 3, negative 1. And then we go ahead and draw the line between those points. And moving on to the next type of problem that we'll see. Here we have to describe the translation from the shaded figure to the non-shaded figure. So this is our pre-image, and down here is our image. And so when we do that, we're going to, so let me get that spelled right here. And so when we do this, we're going to take a point and go from this vertex over to the other vertex that corresponds to it. And that's why we talked about corresponding parts yesterday. So we're going to find the corresponding point here. And so since all points have to do the same, we just need to deal with one. So we count the spaces. 1, 2, 3 spaces left. So we write 3 left. And then it went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 down. And that represents the translation of the figure. Now there's another way to write that. With ordered pairs, we could say since it went 3 left, we can take the x value, each of these x components, and we can show how we're going 3 spaces. All right. So another way to write that is to write it in the ordered pair form, and so I take the x value, I got to go 3 left, so I just have x minus 3, and then 5 units down means I have y minus 5. So we're going to use that notation for this next problem. We're going to start with our pre-image and just plot these points. So we go 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 units up. So I plot at this point right here. I'm going to call that A. So we'll call this point A here. And then I have 1, 2. So I go over 1 space and then up 2 spaces. I'll call that B. And then I've got 2 units to the right and 3 spaces down. I'm going to call that C. So 2 units right, 3 spaces down. That is C. And so I'm going to connect these points with lines. And then I'm going to follow what the rule of the image is. So this is my pre-image. My new image is going to be when I go ahead and substitute or follow what the rule says here, x plus 1. So I'm just going to go 1 space to the right and then 2 spaces down. So x plus 1 means 1 to the right and 2 down. So 1 right, 2 down. I have a new point there, so I'm going to change the color a little bit more so I can see that. And then here I have 1 space to the right and 2 spaces down. And then for C, same thing, 1 space right, 2 spaces down, so it just fits. And so this would be my new image. And so this one I would call, instead of just A, I'm going to call it A prime since I've changed it. And then B prime, again, the image, I go ahead and use this little prime symbol since I changed the image, and then C prime. And so that would be my new image there along with the pre-image. So those are the types of problems you're going to see on this assignment. Good luck.